Hello, welcome back. It's time for Canadian Socialist Opposition Part 3. Where we last left off, we did have a government proposal. I think it's a funding proposal, so let's check it out. Sports car racing. Wow. So we did have a 2-star funding of sports car racing, and now the Prime Minister is cutting it to zero. Zero funding, which will save Canada $5 million a year. Alright, so again, like I said before, he has cut environment spending, he has cut medical spending, now he has cut sports spending, but we only want to really criticize him very much if he cuts the same sector again and again. So let's keep going. Okay, we have something from the Prime Minister and a newspaper. So let's check out the newspaper first. In opposition, I like to do that first. What's going on around here anyways, newspaper? Let me know. I'm at 58% popularity. Prime Minister at 44%. That's going well. Alright. Yeah. The wife had a scandal. We know that. But apparently, in opposition, it doesn't really hurt you. And it doesn't really hurt the Prime Minister either. Tax on gambling has passed. 71.4% in favor. My party was 100% in favor. They really followed me this time. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And let's keep going. Okay, now the Prime Minister is doing something. Police Vice Squad. Okay, Canada does not have a Vice Squad in the game when you start. And he is proposing one. The Vice Squad is like about moral issues. I'm not sure exactly what that means in a democracy like Canada. Maybe about prostitution or something like that. There is a separate drug squad, so that's not what this is about. Maybe it's about, yeah, prostitution and stuff like that. He's increasing it a little bit. So again, I'm not going to criticize him until he does something. I really hope this recording is working properly because I have to choose the same window to record every time. So I hope this is working. If not, I'll have to do it all over again. Let's read our newspaper, March 12th edition. Extra. Read all about it. No Canada stories at all. Okay, so let's just close that. And the Prime Minister is proposing a new tax change, tax on company turnover. This tax is payable each year by businesses and individuals who have a non-salaried professional activity. Alright, so like business people or people who are their own boss. Current value 1.88%. Proposal 1.79%. That will cost, wow, quite a bit. $1.5 billion a year. I'll vote against it. We're socialists. We like business taxes, right? Of course. But, like I said before, we're not going to launch any protest actions or complain in the media because tax cuts are generally popular. So let's just leave it be. I hope something will happen very soon that I can really strongly oppose. Usually. Alright, what's in the newspaper now? The president's party won the legislative elections. Congratulations, Mr. President. There is no Canadian news. Snore. Alright, what does my deputy have to say in our party? Tax on company turnover. Disagree. I'm sorry, but I don't agree with your voting recommendation. It goes against our policy. I won't be voting in the way you want. I think this could be an error in the game, a bug, because sometimes socialists will tell you that they oppose something that really socialists agree with. We'll have to wait and see how the voting goes in Parliament, but I have a bet. I bet you that our party actually votes in favor of it, even though I got this. When you're in power, sometimes you'll get the same thing. Like if you're socialist and you increase the tax on corporations, you'll get the same message, which is obviously baloney, even though your party votes in favor of it, like really strongly. So I think it's a little bit of a problem with the coding of the game. I'm not sure. Let's see how it works out. Prime Minister has come back with something more. Something about funding for sports. Skiing. He has cut it from 2 stars to 0. Wow. He's a real cutter. Is that the first time he cut sports? Alright. Check the newspaper first. Libya has defeated rebel movement. Democratic movement. So I think in real life there was a split between like the Libyan president and the cabinet on one side and the legislature on the other. So I think here what has happened is the side with the president and the cabinet has defeated the parliamentary side. They have laid down their weapons. Alright. I don't know much about that, to be honest. And that's it. No Canadian news. Prime Minister has his tax on company turnover has passed. Wow, and our party actually did vote in favor. 58%. So my deputy wasn't lying when she said she opposed it. Well, that's crazy. Of course, as socialists, we support taxes on companies. Maybe the increase was, or the decrease was so low that my party still supported it. As I said before, the party is kind of more social democratic, kind of centrist, not very far left wing. In this game, when it says socialist, it means just a bit left of center. And if you're more real socialist, it calls it communist. If this game were produced right now today, they would probably list Jeremy Corbyn and the British Labour Party as communist. Like, that's how they define things in this game. Because it's based on the French model. This game is made by a French company, Everson. And in France, the so-called Socialist Party is just a bit left of center. They're not like, you know, radicals or even radical democratic socialists. Alright, whatever. I don't care. I voted the right way. If my party doesn't like it, I'll have to get them in line. And now something about the airline ticket tax. Current value 23. Proposed value 24. This tax is meant to go to humanitarian organizations to help developing countries to have a better access to medical treatment. Huh? It was adopted in 2005 on the initiative of the French and Brazilian presidents. I have no idea. I'm going to have to conduct a survey. And I'll check what the people think and what my party. The good news is the recording seems to be working. The bad news is it's still a little bit boring. Come on, Prime Minister. Do something crazy. Let me bring it out. Alright, what is he up to now? Tourist tax on entering the territory. Theoretically, the income generated by this tax is aimed at encouraging the development of the country's tourism. Current value 12.6, government proposal 13.9. We're going to vote against that. I don't like anything that discourages the free flow of people between countries. I am no Trumpist. Should I protest? Let me see, is there a union for like the tourism industry? I know there's a tourism and hotel sector in the economy. But they don't seem to have their own union. Alright, then I'll just vote against it. That's it. No point in trying to protest unless we can get someone on our side. Don't worry, eventually he will do something that bugs people. At least one union or one association. And then we can protest. Usually he's more bold. He will propose some anti-democratic things like censoring the freedom of speech on religion or limiting the right of homosexuals to marry or things like that. But he hasn't yet. Alright, I'm a party deputy. I'm sorry, but I don't agree with your voting recommendation. It goes against our policy. I won't be voting in the way you want. See, sometimes I totally disagree with her. I don't think she's being really that socialist or even social democratic. Why? You just want more tax money? Is that what it is? Socialists in Canada, democratic socialists and social democrats are not in favor of restricting more the free movement of tourists into Canada. I think that's baloney. Alright, I think we have some voting results in Parliament, but first let's check the newspaper. The United States had a terrorist attack. That's very sad. I'm sorry, USA. I stand in solidarity with you against terrorists. Yep, Brodo is at the equilibrium point, so he's still near 50. That's all it means. He's at 46. And that's it for domestic news. Airline ticket tax. How did the vote go? We voted in favor. And the Parliament voted 56.6% for it. So now the Prime Minister is building prisons. He's going to build 5 prisons in the Yukon. Wow, that really sounds like a new Google newspaper. Unemployment rate has dropped. So if it raises, we can criticize the government and get some points. But it has actually dropped a little bit. Only a little bit. I think it started at 8, now it's at 7. Alright. Annual growth 1.2.6%. That's not so great, but it's not. That's actually one category you can't criticize the government on, and I'll show you right now. Criticize the head of state on a particular subject. There are many subjects, but growth, gay rights, genetics, and then handicap. Growth is not there, nor is GDP, or gross domestic product, and neither is economy. So we can't criticize him on that, even though he might deserve it. Alright, now the Prime Minister is proposing something about the allowance paid to job seekers. So, unemployment insurance. The purpose of this benefit is to give the job seeker the income necessary during the period when he or she is actively seeking work. So the period is definable when you're in government. You can set the number of months unemployment insurance pays you for, and you can set the amount. He is cutting the amount. Current value 43% of your original wage before you got laid off. Government proposal 42.14%. Now we can finally protest this jerk. Voting recommendation: vote against. We don't like cuts to unemployment insurance payouts. We are socialists. We want the working class, including the unemployed, well provided for. And we can finally protest. Criticize the law to the media. Yes, that's what we want first. Criticism in the media, that's the newspaper, or criticism on the television. We'll save criticism on the television for really anti-democratic things. For things that are just policy that we oppose as socialists, we will criticize in the newspaper, which means media. Confirm. And we will protest on the streets as well, finally. But what we want to do first is meet some people to get them to protest with us. In this case, the unions are our first best bet. These top 3 unions are the union confederations. So they represent more than just one sector. They represent workers overall. And they represent different political points of view. I'm not sure which one is which. The game was written in France. So in France they have, you know, kind of social democratic union confederations and communist union federations and radical union federations. I'm not sure which is which. I'm going to meet them all and try to get them all on my side. And we'll protest all together. We'll launch a massive multi-front protest. And there are some associations I can probably get on board as well. There is a ultramondialist association, and they like to oppose capitalism. They're basically anti-capitalist, sort of 21st century anti-capitalists. So we'll meet with them too. And we'll see if we can't get all of them to protest with us. Let's advance to the next morning. Yes, my computer is a bit slow. That's okay. All right. Let's see. Let's give them a coffee.
Sure. Dark and
compliment them. Your militants can be proud of their leader.
That's the way it is. And you, your family, your neighbors, are they?
Champagne.
I'd be happy to. That's what we call entertaining.
Good. How did he think about me? Okay. He's a little bit in favor of me. That's good enough probably to get him to protest with us. So we don't have to make him a promise. Sometimes to get people on board you need to make an electoral promise, but he's already a little bit green. So good enough. End the meeting. Go to the next person. Same thing. Offer coffee.
Dark and
Compliment.
You're too kind.
Champagne.
I'd be happy to.
What's his attitude? Good enough. All right. Good. Next. We got one more union coming in and one association.
Sure.
Coffee.
That's the way.
Compliment. Champagne. All right. He's good. We got a newspaper. Let's check it out. Yeah, I criticized the law on unemployment benefits, the decrease in unemployment payments in the media. It's deplorable and archaic. There's a complaint about staff shortage in the research field. As I said before, that happens all the time. Doesn't mean anything. Law on unemployment benefits. Gilbert Junot's reaction changes the game. That's good. That means our criticism in the newspaper has changed public opinion. It appears that Gilbert Junot has convinced several parliamentarians who will be prepared to vote against the law. What's more, an INS report shows that the majority of our co-citizens judge the criticism formulated by the Canada Citizens Movement's Secretary General as pertinent. So, both parliamentarians, MPs, and the public agrees with me. That's the end of Canadian news. So, that probably changed our popularity. No, not yet. No? Maybe it changed the prime ministers? Oh yeah, big time. Minus 7.7% because of our criticism. Good. Well, we're just getting started. Let's bring in the next person to meet with. The Altermondialist. Offer coffee.
Sure.
Your militants can be proud. Compliment. Offer champagne. He's still only neutral, so we need to offer him an electoral promise. Now, what I like to offer this kind of person, left-leaning people, is a reduction in the working week from 40 hours per week to 39. It is the average number of hours that each full-time employee spends in paid work with fixed hours. This number has an impact on employment and purchasing power. So in other words, I'm saying that the Canadian working class should get paid the same they do now for working 40 hours, but for working only 39 hours. In Denmark, the real life number is quite low, like 32 or 30 or 34. But in this game, you really want to move slowly, so 1 hour is enough. Let's make the promise. He likes it. That's not to be turned down. Now, is he green yet? Oh, he's still yellow. Okay, I probably won't call him in then to the protest. That's too bad. I thought I could get him on board. All right, we're done our meetings, so let's do it. Protest. Launch a protest. Oh no, sorry. We need to go into the Parliament tab. Current laws. Establish the allowance paid to job seekers. Protest action. We already criticized. Initiate an action for your party. Yes. Demonstration in the capital. We want to start out small and get bigger and bigger. If this was a really anti-democratic thing, we could do a sit-in, but this is just a tweak in the unemployment insurance. So a demonstration in one city is enough. You can't pick the city. It can only be, if you want to do one city, it has to be the capital. In many countries, the capital is the biggest and most important city. In Canada, it isn't. But I guess in the game, it is. So confirm. Achievement unlocked. Riot. Alright, that means you successfully raised a protest. And now, we also want to get those unions to protest as well. Urge an organization to initiate a protest. And those were all unions. The one association is still so-so on us. Okay, the overall confederations are down here at the bottom. They just say union. The other unions say each sector, truckers, teachers. The overall confederations just say union. So, confirm. Again. You can see the one we already called in is grayed out, so you know which one you already called in. Next one, next confederation. There are 3. Last one. Okay. That's done. So let's move on and see what happens. I think this will help us a lot. I think we're going to move up a lot, and he's going to move down a lot. Let's see. Pause. Favorable opinion. This is my party. Your arguments are convincing. You're right. Enough debate. It's time for action. I will liaise with our supporters to coordinate the movement. Okay, so our party's going to protest. What does the union have to say? Same thing.
Arguments are convincing. You're right. Enough
Same
debate.
thing. And what are they going to do? What's going on here?
Our organization has voted for declaring a national strike for one day next week in order to send you a clear signal. We hope to mobilize opinion throughout the country and across all sectors. I hope that our message will be heard.
So, they're going to launch a one-day general strike of their confederation. Right on. Next guy. Favorable opinion. What's he going to do?
Your
Same thing.
policy
A day of
has
action.
no
That means a
other
one-day
choice but to
strike.
send-
Good. And last guy. Favorable
Arguments are
opinion.
convincing.
Let's just advance a little bit more. Maybe they're going to launch a strike too. Yes.
Each
They
day,
are.
your class policy
So we got one-day strike coming up by all three of the major union confederations. And now it is happening. First protest is us, the Canadian Citizens Movement. That's our party. We got almost 5,000 people on the streets of Ottawa. Right on. And you can see massive impact on popularity. We went up by 19%. And the Prime Minister went down by only a little bit. But that's okay. Look, we're kicking his butt now. He's at 39, we're at 78. And now these other protests and strikes are coming. I think when the unions announce a day of action, a one-day strike, it takes a while to initiate, maybe about 1 week. And when those happen as well, it's going to have a big impact. Here we go. Oh no, this is something else. Government is also proposing to build one university center in Nova Scotia. Alright, well that's good. I support that. We can't vote on it anyways. My party secretary is telling me. Okay, we have a new newspaper, but before I open that, I am going to end this episode. I'm going to leave you in a little bit of suspense. These big one-day strikes are coming, and it's going to make a huge difference in the game. After these strikes, we're going to be on the verge of being able to bring down this liberal government. For the people, for the socialists. Thank you for watching. Please like this video. Please comment or ask me questions. And please subscribe to my channel, A Saint and a Simmer. I will see you next time for Canadian Socialist Opposition Part 3. Thank you for watching, YouTube. Bye-bye.